its association with James Bond movies, Pinewood Studios London seems an incongruous location for Beckett's play. Directed by Oscar winner Anthony Minghella, and with Alan Rickman, Juliet Stevenson and Kirsten Scott Thomas in the pots. Play is centred around a ladies' man of quite another hue, one who was forced to live with the consequences of his actions.
For months by a first-rate man, no shadow of proof was forthcoming. There was no denying that he continued as assiduous as ever. This and his horror of the merely platonic thing made me sometimes wonder if I were not accusing him unjustly, yes.
What have you to complain of? I said, have I been neglected? I have a letter that was given to me by a friend who knew Samuel Beckett, and he wrote to her about having attended some rehearsals, or a copy of the letter. And he'd been to some rehearsals. He wasn't that happy because he said, in the letter, he said, I don't suppose they'll ever get the voice right. He said it should have an ashen, abstract quality, and those are his words after the hours it takes to decipher the handwriting. But ashen and abstract, I suppose, are two qualities that are very difficult to produce on stage because they'd be inaudible. And so in many ways that's why I think it's great that these works are being put on film, and I'm sure actually Beckett would agree and be happy too, because he's getting a vocal quality. Hopefully that's the one that's in his head. I get the impression that sometimes theatre frustrated him as much as it excited him, because as he became kind of purer and purer and purer, it's almost like an installation or performance art.
Fearing she was about to offer me violence, I rang for Erskine and had her shown out her parting words, as he could testify if he's still living and has not forgotten, coming and going on the earth, letting people in, showing people out, what had the effect that she would settle my hash. I confess it did alarm me a little at the time.
Great writing. It's not meant to be a palliative. This was happening to the world what we live in. You know, more and more palliatives, shorter and shorter attention spans, and the tragedy is, of course, that we're going to have a culture that's less and less able to respond to Beckett or Shakespeare or whatever at all, because they won't have a way in. They won't know that you actually have to do a bit of work as a member of the audience, and you've got to make a gift of yourself in the audience to the piece of work. It's not going to just come and stroke you.
There's a certain amount of truth in the fact that his writing is a cul-de-sac in some ways. It doesn't, it annihilates theatre, it annihilates the novel, it annihilates fiction.
A few moons ago at Stratford, and he came back after he'd put the production on to see us, and he was going around talking to the actors about how it was going, how they felt, what were the problems, and he came to talk to us all afterwards as a group. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Talked to us all as a group, and so he said, it always amazes me when I go back to see a production and actors have say, oh, this isn't working and that's not working and this is difficult and that's, getting worse. And he said, the thing is, what you forget, and this was Antony and Cleopatra, he said, what everybody forgets is however good you are, you'll never be as good as the players. And it's true. We're limited little souls, and we can only kind of throw ourselves against the wall and hope to stick a bit.